Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Happy Monday, April 8th, 2024. We're here, new week, new set of opportunities to close the gap between where we are and where we want to be. I'm your host, Adam Holland, stock options expert market strategist. So we're here to get 1% better like we are each and every day. We've got earnings season kicking off. It's that time again. Starting with banks like we always are here to end this week, and it should be, a very interesting one with these banks reporting, considering the banks have been a sector that we've been focusing on over the course of this first quarter. I'm excited to have all you guys here. I hope you had a great weekend, a restful, restorative weekend. Weekend where you maybe took some time to get 1% better over the course of those off days, right? And now you can come with momentum into Monday. I had a great Sunday yesterday. Had some meetings, took some time to myself, took some time to dream, took some time to explore those dreams, took some time, exploring avenues on how to execute on them. And it's a fun, inspiring way to go into Monday with some momentum. So, make sure you feed that creative side of yourself as well, because we can get so caught in the monotony of, executing and providing and putting food on the table that we lose sight of the fact that we've got one life to live, right? And we're living it right now. So make sure that you are, expressing yourself and loving yourself and putting your best foot forward. Let's see here. And that starts with our Monday session, right? Our Monday session, our deluxe pre-market prep session, where we go over what to expect out of the week, right? And laying the groundwork for that week, very important. And then also our Monday specific news. So as I already alluded to, we do have earnings happening here, kicking off again this week. So that'll be, an important thing coming down the pipeline. But we've also got some data that's happening. So we'll kick off with the week ahead. Let's dive into that. Make sure you throw your ones in the chat, signifying your intention to get 1% better by the end of this session, right? So that we get better on purpose, not by accident. Now, CPI. That's the big event for this week. All eyes will be on Wednesday's Consumer Price Index report for March. Headline CPI is expected to rise 0.4% on a month-over-month basis, flat from February, and an increase of 3.1% on a year-over-year basis, slightly lower from 3.2% prior. Core CPI is seen to be decelerating on both a month-over-month and year-over-year basis to 0.3% and 3.7% respectively. Additionally, investors will be looking out for the minutes of the Federal Reserve's March minutes, also scheduled for Wednesday, following last week's hot labor market data that dented interest rate cut odds. Market participants will be closely watching the minutes and the consumer inflation report for further clues about the future of monetary policy. Next week will mark the start of the first quarter earnings as well. Now, Delta Airlines, ticker DAL, and Corona beer giant Constellation Brands, ticker STZ, will report on Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, we will see quarterly numbers from major banks like JPM, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, WFC, and Citigroup, ticker C, who we pointed out a number of months ago as a big beneficiary in terms of price action moving forward, and Citigroup has not at all disappointed since it is up significantly since then. Which is a big benefit of being a part of this community, right? Being in the things that run and have record runs before they have record runs. You hear them months before in our community. So if you're not a part of that and you want to be, make sure you reach out and email adam@adamhollandeducates.com. We'll see about getting you started and on track to joining us, making money in markets and taking advantage of all this movement that they have to offer, which has been a lot over the course of the past year and a half. In terms of earnings news and other names reporting, really no other important names other than the banks on Friday, DAL on Wednesday, and Constellation Brands on Thursday. But we're not even into the thick of it where we have the big techs reporting. That's going to be the most important. This week, because we have big inflation data on Wednesday, it can be like a weird week where we might not move as much as we did last week, right? Last week we had big drop down, right? And then we had a nice little bounce up. No surprise there. But because of the data that we have, right, we might have the market kind of wait in anticipation of that data, where we don't really make any major moves and we just kind of wait, because everyone wants to see, okay, is inflation still running hot? how is that going to affect, even though that's not even the Fed's preferred measure of inflation, CPI, PCE is, how is that going to affect the Fed's outlook, right? Everyone will be waiting on that. So we can, get some choppy conditions that you have to factor in here as we go into the week. And then, we could get some banks taking off or dropping, depending on the data that we get from their earnings. Let's see, investor events. Intel will hold its Intel Vision event in Phoenix, Arizona. This year's event has the theme Bring AI Everywhere. The 3-day Google Cloud Next event will also take place during the week. The tech giant will show off AI-powered assistant Gemini, generative AI studio, and AI platform tools during the event. So Google's got some AI related, headlines it'll likely be making or trying to make this week. Same with Intel. And then Marvell Technology, something we traded, will hold a special event with the title Accelerated Infrastructure for the AI Era. Management is anticipated to discuss the total addressable market for application-specific integrated circuits and custom ASIC RAMs. So INTC, Google, and Marvell all, stocks that could see some AI-related pops or drops this week. So make sure you keep an eye out for those, right? Eye up those technicals, see if there's a setup that could get, even further boosted to the moon based off of, news that might drop from these events. So a few different events that are happening this week that would be a lot more interesting than the normal events that go on that we don't really care too much about. And that's pretty much everything for the week ahead. Let's also look at our economic calendar here. Okay, so Monday, April 8th. So we've got Chicago Fed president interview. Oh, great. We've got Neil Kashkari back, but he speaks at 7 p.m., so who cares about that? Tuesday, April 9th, nothing really. Wednesday, the big day. So we really got nothing on Monday, nothing on Tuesday, everything on Wednesday, right? Core CPI year over year, normal CPI, wholesale inventories, March minutes of FOMC's March meetings. So we've got FOMC minutes. We don't have Powell, but we have FOMC minutes and we have CPI data. So Wednesday, most definitely the most important day of the week. Everything hinging on Wednesday. Thursday, we get PPI data. And then Friday, consumer sentiment preliminary. So Wednesday and Thursday, definitely the biggest days. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw, kind of not a lot of action heading into Wednesday, with it being under the microscope more than ever. Inflation data right now is under the microscope more than ever as the Fed's looking to determine how many hikes, when do the hikes happen, that type of thing. So this will definitely be a big piece of data here this week. Now let's go into our Monday specific news. Nope, not the week ahead. There we go. Okay. All right. So now our Monday specific news here. Top news: license and registration. Where's your self-driving car, dude? Promises of a robo-taxi revolution have been made for years, with many estimating that companies would have tens of thousands of autonomous vehicles on the road by now. One of the pioneers of the industry, Elon Musk, has also been in the spotlight for many of his statements, especially as Tesla faces mounting pressures from EV competition and is forced to pursue additional revenue streams to keep its growth story alive. In terms of flashbacks, quote, only a year away has been the robo-taxi theme at Tesla since 2019, with many announcements focused on the success of autopilot and FSD, full self-driving. The problem is that the systems are far from perfect. Forget about challenging conditions like rain or nighttime. There are myriads of inputs that need to be accounted for in order to achieve near 100% accuracy and address safety concerns. Musk even summed up this harder than initially thought situation in 2022, stating, quote, in order to solve full self-driving properly, you actually need to solve real-world AI. Also, don't forget regulations and social acceptance, as well as the legal frameworks needed for the new technology. Seeing how complicated the robo-taxi revolution will be to achieve, Uber gave up on its ambitions following a fatal self-driving crash in 2020, with its operations being absorbed by Aurora, ticker AUR. Lyft also left the driverless road in 2021, Ford shuttered Argo AI in 2022, while it was reported that Apple's Project Titan, which was aiming for an autonomous electric vehicle, got disbanded this past February. Separately, General Motors Cruise halted U.S. operations in October after one of its robo-taxis dragged a pedestrian for 20 feet before coming to a stop. Now, still driving, Tesla is planning to hold a robotaxi reveal event on August 8th in an announcement that saw the stock rise 3% in pre-market trading on Monday. The skeptics and believers are again going at it in the Seeking Alpha comments section, but the announcement likely made fund managers like Cathie Wood happy, since she predicts that Tesla's robotaxis will be $1 trillion business and send the stock to more than $2,000 a share. Other players that have skin in the game include Waymo by Alphabet, Zoox by Amazon, as well as technology partnerships related to names like Microsoft and NVIDIA. Yeah, I feel like full self-driving has been promised for a long time. I do agree that in order to get it, we're going to have to get AI on the level that we're on track for now, right? AI is advancing at an unprecedented rate, and over the course of the next 3 years, I believe that we will see technological changes and jumps that dwarf what we've seen in the past 20, 30, and 50 years. And that's just how the human race goes, right? It took us kind of forever to figure out like farming, and then it took forever from there to get like the combustion engine, and then from there but every single advancement is coming sooner and sooner, right? Like we got the creation of apps and the rise of software with the iPhone and the creation of the App Store. And I don't know how long ago that was, maybe 15 years ago now, 15 years ago. And, in 15 years, a lot has changed. Over the course of these next, 3 to 5, it's going to be like unrecognizable, like the world that we live in 5 years from now because of how fast things are changing. So I do think full self-driving will be on the way because they need AI to be there for full self-driving to be there. And I think AI gets there because now that is what every major company is focused on right now. Like it's very rare that we have had Google, Apple, Microsoft, like Meta. It's rare that we've had all of them focused on one thing, right? Normally it's like, oh, we're going to get into streaming and we're looking at healthcare and we're looking at this. Everyone is focused on that thing. And when you have the collective energy of the most brilliant minds in the world focused on one thing, crazy things happen, right? And so that's why I actually do think, if I had to say, do I think we do end up getting full self-driving possibly within a year? I think that whole year out could be real this time around, just because of how fast things are developing. So I think that, if it was going to happen anytime soon, I would lock it down as it happening within the next few years. It's just going to be who's going to be around long enough to make that happen and who will make the partnerships necessary to make that happen. In terms of regulation news, climate disclosures, the SEC will stay the implementation of its new climate disclosure rule as the agency pushes to consolidate the legal challenges that have already been filed attempting to overturn it. While lawsuits from more than 20 Republican-led states and various business groups argue that the disclosure requirements are beyond the SEC's legal authority, the regulator still believes the rule is within its power to order. The SEC recently weakened the rule, including requirements for some companies to report Scope 3 emissions from their supply chains and customers using their products. Now, in terms of new technology, Sovereign AI, Canada's next budget includes around $2.4 billion, so basically $1.8 billion, 2.4 billion Canadian dollars to support investment in artificial intelligence, according to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. A big chunk of the allocated money will go towards building and providing access to computing capabilities and technological infrastructure for Canada's AI researchers, startups, and scale-ups. The government also aims to bring new technologies to market and accelerate AI adoption in critical sectors such as healthcare and manufacturing. Healthcare definitely needs it. Canada's budget will be tabled in the House of Commons on April 16th. So aviation news, Golden Parachute, David Calhoun took home nearly $33 million in total compensation last year, mostly from stock awards, marking a record for a Boeing CEO who has overseen a company plagued by safety problems. That's crazy that this guy who is the CEO of this crusty company, that I saw this morning again the engine casing of one of their planes was peeling off during the flight. Like literally the engine, like everything that wraps around the engine housing was flying off during the flight. And that was this morning. I'm seeing that, and I just, how is this guy getting paid $33 million? To note, Calhoun gave up an around $3 million cash bonus and is getting less stock this year in the wake of January's door plug blowout aboard a 737 MAX jet. The board also tied executive pay to 2 new safety and production quality goals in the aftermath of multiple safety incidents, and recently said Calhoun would step down by year end. Stock awards for senior executives in 2024 are about 22% below original targets, roughly in line with Boeing's stock decline. Now, in terms of today's markets, looking mostly green here. Japan up 0.9%, Hong Kong up 0.1%, China down 0.7%, India up 0.7%, London up 0.2%, Paris up 0.7%, Frankfurt up 0.7%, the Dow up 0.1%, S&P flat. So basically, we're all flat here at open. Crude down 0.8%, gold up 0.7%, Bitcoin up 4.2%. Only thing on the economic calendar, really, Kashkari speaking at 7. Forget that guy. What else is happening? We'll finish up with our rapid fire stock news rundown. Southwest, ticker LOVE, flight returns to airport after engine cover falls off. What I was just talking about, and it was a Boeing plane. Report, Paramount, ticker Para, may acquire Skydance for $5 billion in stock. Would housing affordability wane even without Fed tightening? Proxy advisors urge B of A to separate CEO and chair roles. Cannabis stock rally sparks concerns amid moves to mainstream. Kimberly-Clark, ticker KMB, to sell personal protective gear unit for $640 million. Solar groups warn of new U.S. trade probe into solar imports. Then China's Shein and Temu, disruptors of fast fashion and e-commerce. In changing gears, eyes on GM and Ford downshifts, eyes on GM after Ford downshifts EV plans. And then the biggest S&P stocks have to do the heavy earnings lifting again. So it's just an article. But that's always how it is, right? It's always going to be those heaviest companies in the S&P that determine our direction. So all eyes will, of course, be on your Apples, NVIDIA, even though they have a weird date when they report. Your Apples, NVIDIAs, Googles, Metas, right? All eyes will be on them. And we're entering into another, fun and interesting earnings season. So make sure that you know how to navigate these. You get the heads up. And part of that, a lot of that is being here for these sessions, right? So lock in, committing to doing what you needing to do. Commit to doing what you need to do in order to get that success that you're looking for. And let's win together, right? Everybody have a great rest of your day. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning here live on YouTube for our next Premarket Prep session. Have a good one.